also to be, and you're asking for petitions against each other. Just a second. So again, just so I get this right, you're Ms. Youth, correct? You're Ms. McDaniel.
Correct.
And then is it Sabin Woods? Are you Mr. Woods? Sabin, I apologize for that. Yeah, you come up too. Sorry about that. I should have brought you up here also. So, I will say that whenever I see petitions against each other, my first question is always, you both want the same thing, to be left alone by the other person. What really do you need me for? So you could just let that question hang for a minute. And then I did review what's being submitted, but and again, Ms. Youth, just because for no particular reason, it doesn't matter who files first, but you did file first. I'll start with you. Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. This strikes me as being kind of a property dispute as to where the line is. Is that correct or not? Or
Yes.
okay. So how long have you lived there?
8 years going on 9.
Okay. And then how long has Ms. Hang on just a second. Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
You can put your hand down. How long have you lived there?
3.5 years.
Okay. So, okay, Ms. Youth, I'm gonna come back to you. How long has this been going on? Is this a recent thing, or did you used to get along, or, because I see that all the time. Everything was fine until we got a survey and it was off by 6 inches. And so tell me what's going on out there.
Okay. So we are usually gone in the winter time.
Okay. I've heard that before this morning. Go ahead.
So we got a call from our neighbors that someone had bought the piece of property next to us and they were going to cut down a tree that's on our property. And so I got Leslie's information and gave her a phone call and let her know that that tree wasn't in fact on her property. And that she might want to get a survey done before she buys the property, because there is definitely some.
Well, how long ago was this?
Before she even moved in.
So like 3.5 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently, okay, continue on, sorry.
So then apparently she had the survey done, which showed the tree was actually shared. So
Okay.
Both of ours. And my phone call with her, she thought the tree was dead. I let her know, because she was moving in before it actually had leafed out. I let her know the tree was very much alive and that it provided us with a lot of shade to the point where we don't have to run our very noisy air conditioning in the summertime. And I thought it was settled at that point. Being a shared tree, we did not want it cut down.
Okay.
And then we get another phone call saying that she was going to go ahead and cut the tree down anyway because it's messy. I don't know how she would know that at that point, except, a tree with leaves. So we had to end our trip 2 weeks early and rush home to save the tree. And so I put a sign on the tree just in case, we didn't wake up in time to stop the tree company that was supposed to be there the next morning, letting them know, don't cut the tree down, property of, our address. And so we met the tree company and Leslie and her boyfriend outside of the property the next morning.
And again, this is 3.5 years ago, correct?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And she had intended on having the tree cut down, but we let the tree service know it's a shared tree. We don't okay for that to be cut down.
Right.
We did agree to let Leslie chop all of the branches off on her side of the tree.
Okay.
So, to prevent them from hitting her RV, whatever mess. And we thought that was the end of it. Leslie and us were friends after that. She had told me that there was another huge tree in the front that she wanted to cut down because she wants to have a garden in her yard. She wants flowers. And so we were friends. I gave her a couple 6-foot cedar planter boxes, brand new. We agreed to do this shared garden together, which I personally took my truck down, loaded up the blacktop, brought it back. My son dumped it out so we could do a shared garden. We had been friends all summer. We had invited her to all of our family gatherings, events out with our friends. And then she had made an offhanded comment before we left for the next winter, saying she was going to get another survey done because the survey line went through a shed that she had built after she moved in. And I said, well, Leslie, no, you had that shed built after you had this property surveyed.
Two sides, one tree, and a legal battle ready to explode. Karen's obsession with a tree sparks an all-out neighborhood war.
Getting another survey done isn't going to give you more of my property. And that was the end of that conversation. And so we're out of town again. We get another phone call telling us that she's had the property resurveyed and the survey markers had put the tree on her property and she was going to have the tree cut down again. And I saw a picture of the markers and showed them to my husband. He sent her a text saying, we're not going to honor that survey. You know, we're going to have another one done. We'll go by whatever this other one says. But, you know, to have a property line move over 18 inches is kind of, anyway, so we came back home and called the same survey company that she had hired to survey initially.
Mhm.
And he resurveyed, put the line back to where it originally was, had commented that the back marker had been moved somehow and put the line back. So she built a fence. She put up a cedar fence, split rail fence. And I thought that would be the end of it. You know, minus the story. I mean, you've seen what I wrote in there about her. When she had the new survey done, she had thrown out all of my plants from our shared garden, just throwing them in my driveway. My daughter-in-law happened to be in my yard taking care of it. She keeps it clean while we're gone, and caught her throwing the plants in the driveway barefooted, and confronted her about it and said, you know, this is not your property yet. You know, they're going to have another survey done. It's technically not your property. I'm sure you saw that video that I sent you. And she cussed out my daughter-in-law. We came home and had the other survey done again, that the property line was moved back. She built a fence. She'd claimed in what she had written to you is that I had harassed her fence builder so much that he moved her fence back, but she actually did the line prep for the fence. I mean, you saw the picture that I gave you, her actually making that. The fence was put exactly where she had prepped. And she couldn't put it anywhere else. The property line, I think you've seen the pictures I also gave you where the marker is next to her fence.
Okay. And
The white one
continue on.
in the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just keeps coming over and marking off the old line, coming onto my property, tearing out my plants on my side of her fence.
Okay.
I put up no trespassing signs when we got back, hoping that would stop her. She still kept coming over. So I put another no trespassing sign where she keeps coming in between the tree. She decided to take a dead tree and not in a pot. I mean, it's completely dead, knocked my sign down and stuck the dead tree in its place.
Okay.
So I called an officer and I said, could you please call my neighbor and ask her to please stop trespassing? And he goes, well, you should file blah, blah, blah at the court. And I said, I'd rather not take that step yet. I would appreciate if you would just call her and let her know that if she keeps doing this, I will have to take that step. And then I asked him if it would be escalation if I went and removed her string and the stake she had placed in my yard. She makes it look like a
So it's
survey
on your
company.
side of the fence.
Yeah,
Nice.
she put a stake from, there is a survey company in the park. Our property is part of this amended phase 2 where they're going to give us more space in the back and take away, because we own like half the access road. So we're trading. They're going to take back that and we're going to get property in the back. So they had a marker back there. Somehow that marker ended up in my yard further down with her string marking off property that is not hers.
There's a fence. This is on your side of the fence.
Yeah, yeah. And she's ripped up all of the plants that are even anywhere near like that far back on my property. I've got her on video ripping out those plants. I sent you the picture of her with the armload of them. I just would like her to stay on her side of the fence. I don't think that's too much to ask. The survey twice now puts the line where she built her fence, and I don't understand why she can't just stay on her side. After her phone call with the officer, She came into my yard again. She said, "Where's my effing tree?" We didn't answer. We were sitting out in the yard. I had taken the stake that she'd put in my yard and the dead tree and placed them at the end of her fence out at the road. She went out there, found them, took the stake, threw it across the road into the bushes, grabbed her dead tree, called me a bitch, and put the tree back in my yard. So I filed against her. And now she has filed, in one day, she filed 10 complaints against us in our park. One of them being the property line, where you can see in their response to her, they told her her string does not represent the property line. She had us remove, well, she requested that we remove a camera. We didn't have to. We can legally have cameras on our property, protecting our property. But she claimed this camera was spying on her. And so we took.
The judge steps in, and the messy war word begins. Turns out, things were peaceful until a 6-inch survey shift.
Took it down. I wish I hadn't. I would have had her trespassing a lot more, but I just want her to stay on her side of her fence.
Let me hear from her, ma'am. I think I got a good understanding of your position. But the tree, was the tree ever cut down or is that still up?
It's still up, but yeah,
I was just curious
it's
about
been a
that.
fight to keep it up.
Ms. McDaniel, I think I've already sworn you in.
Yes, sir.
And so I understand why they're asking for an order. I'll guess here for you, while you feel you need an order against them.
Well, for one thing, she did not have my phone number before I moved in. We never had a conversation about the tree. What happened was I was looking at the lot. My boyfriend noticed all the other trees were budded out. This one wasn't. His comment was,
Okay, so
this,
hang on, I'm going to stop you there
Oh,
because
yes, sir.
I'll tell you what's bothering me about what she said, what I want you to address.
yes, sir.
First of all, the tree's a non-issue because it hasn't been cut down.
Correct.
But what the thing that, and again, maybe you may have, I don't know if you were paying attention. I wouldn't blame you, any of you, if you weren't. But at the previous hearing, we had similar to the thing that bothered me, frankly, was one person going on to another person's property uninvited, doing stuff. And that's what I want you to talk about.
Okay.
Let's talk about that because the tree hasn't been cut down. It's still up. And but again, the fence has apparently been put up. She's saying, and I'll hear from you, you've been going on to her property and ripping up her plants, throwing a dead tree in here and making some unkind comments. And so I'll hear from you on that. And then I'll hear from your response to that. And I also want to know why you're asking for an order. She explained pretty well why she feels like she's being harassed.
Mhm.
I want to know why you think and then I didn't hear from you, Mr. Woods, because you're not listed as petitioner, but you are listed as a respondent. And after I hear from her, then I might hear from you both. So how is it you need an order against them? That's my question.
I feel that I am constantly being stalked and or harassed.
How so?
You are not supposed to have cameras within the living space in the park. Their camera, as you can see through one of those pictures, is inside their rig, looking directly at my front door. If my door is open, they can see inside. They watch me 24/7, no matter what I do. And in all honesty, sir, I had one surveyor that I hired.
Do you have any questions? Is there any dispute in your mind? I feel like they're pretty clear. They know where the line is.
I am also very clear. There are stakes.
Okay, so hang on just a second. Do you agree with them?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
there are surveyor stakes in the ground. Let me start. May I explain
Mhm.
about the fence and the
I'm
tree?
asking you to explain.
Okay. She intimidated the gentleman that was building my fence, asking where he had to cut a tiny piece of a root out of this tree to put the post in. She apparently had a little bit of a fit about it and wanted a piece of the tree, wanted the root as evidence in case, I'm sure if the tree died, it would be all my fault. But he never gave it to her, but he was so intimidated, he moved it back 6 inches because she was over him constantly. So he told me that. And I said, well, I wish you hadn't have done that. But with that being said, My fence is about 6 inches inside my property line. I went to the office. It is noted in the office at Lost Lake Resort that the fence is inside my property line. Right now, the park has hired a different surveyor to make sure where the property lines are and where the markers are. I have not moved any markers. She was there, I was there, the COA president was there, Saban was there. We all saw the markers done by the surveyors. I don't understand why there's any question. I step over my fence to weed my 6 inches, weeds, not plants. And as far as plants going out of her yard, when her daughter, I started working in the yard about 10 o'clock in the morning, and she's there with her phone. To me, that's harassment. She stalked me while I worked in my yard, prepping for my fence all day. Finally, in the afternoon, I did lose my temper. I told her to F off, get away from me. She looked at me and she goes, "Stop talking." Excuse me. Okay, well, whatever. I will just continue, just another whatever on them. So I don't understand why they keep saying I am on their property. I am not. It is denoted by the pegs that are secured in the ground. I have not moved any of them. You can't.
But 6 inches, I mean, that's,
It's
yeah, that's
it's my
right.
foot. I straddle the fence to weed my property.
They cut their trip short just to stand guard over a tree. This isn't just about branches. It's about bold moves and betrayal.
That's it.
How
But
tall-
I
how
don't
tall is this
appreciate,
fence?
pardon me,
How tall is the fence?
it's low.
Okay.
It has to be a certain cedar rail fence to be accepted in the park. I liked the look of it. I thought it was a wise idea, business wise, to have my property surveyed so I would know what I was paying taxes on. We were fine as friends until Saban sent me a text that said if I touched the tree, they weren't going to honor it. They weren't going to honor my surveyor, and they were going to sue me. Don't talk to me about it. Don't ask me what I'm doing. Just send me a text that states that you're going to sue me. And then I got angry because of that. And I'm a gardener. I did not throw her plants. I scooped them up and I placed them in her driveway. But after I got his
Where did you
text,
scoop them up from? From the 6
for
inches?
some reason, she thought we had decided we would have a shared garden, and that was never discussed either
How long were those plants there?
from the day I moved in.
I know, so plants were there for like a couple of years, then all of a sudden you pulled them up and,
No, she had decided that she wanted to put her tchotchkes, mushrooms, gnomes, and whatever gardening things she wanted in my property. And that's one reason why I decided to have a fence, because I wanted my property to be noted as mine.
okay.
So I gently moved her plants to her side of the driveway. And after I got the text from Saban, yeah, the last 3 plants got thrown, literally. And I called a police officer after that to ask my rights. And I told him what I did. And I'm sorry, he laughed. He thought it was funny and ridiculous. All of this is ridiculous. We shouldn't be here. But I don't appreciate Saban sneaking around behind my lot, bobbing and weaving and trying to see what I'm up to, because they can't see what I'm doing over there, and they're darn tootin' gonna find something they can complain about me. And the reason I filed 10 ordinances, information reports on them is because they were called for. They do not obey or honor the quiet hours. We're technically only supposed to have 1 string of lights. She has laser lights that shine up in all the trees so you can't even see the stars. It goes on. I constantly feel like they're poking at me. I don't like being videoed 24/7. I can imagine I'm pretty boring. So I just don't appreciate the harassment every single day. I wake up with anxiety. I think about them first thing in the morning and wondering what they're going to do, what they're going to complain about. What did I do to upset them today? I just want to garden and be left alone. We both want the same things, but it's over this much property that is mine. It is denoted, there are stakes in the ground from the surveyor that are officially noted.
Okay, so ma'am, I'm going to hear from Mr. Woods. I heard from you, Mr. Woods. Could you raise your right hand, please?
Sir.
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can put your hand down and ma'am, you'd probably be doing yourself a favor if you just turned around and looked at me.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Woods.
I have made some bullet points. I'd like to just go through them real
Sure.
quick. One, we have not ever been on her property without invitation. And that was at the beginning when her boys were helping her actually spread some gravel and we did some work. I fixed a propane tank for her once, but that's been 3+ years ago. In her note, there is an issue I have with defamation of character, which I don't know how to address yet, but I just will bring that to your attention. The cameras that we have are viable in the park. Everybody has them. They are pointed in our yard. They might look like they point towards something, but they all go in the green belt or over our hot tub. They do not point at her front door. We do not agree where the line is because her survey that she got was proven to be wrong. When we got the new one, our surveyor talked to her surveyor for the last survey she had gotten. They admitted they were wrong. It shows on our survey, which we have filed with the county, that that stake was in the wrong position that was originally found. So it is marked on that survey. The marker that she is talking about in the back where she is tying her string to is not official yet. That would be a marker that is possibly our new back marker after the phase 2 amendment goes through. How that marker even got in the ground, don't know, because phase 2 has not been implemented. So how that marker got where it is a mystery. And it's not currently in use. So the old marker actually is behind one of her sheds on COA property. The pics she submitted, you can tell she is on our side of the property. She has to be on our side of the fence to take those pictures. Her survey again was proven wrong. The text that I sent her, I think I don't have it, but I think she gave you a copy of it. I thought it was very clean and legal. There was no threats or anything except for the fact that we had 2 surveys that said different things. We were going to get a 3rd survey. We would follow the 3rd survey, but do not touch the tree until we get back because we were gone.
Karen doesn't stop. She trespasses, rips plants, and rages. No trespassing signs, dead trees, and pure neighbor madness.
We weren't even there. And she has done that 3 years running where she surprises us while we're gone with something like this. We have never complained about her to the park. We have never filed any incidents. We have never complained to anybody. We might have had discussions with friends on, we're wondering what she's up to, but her talking about us finding things to talk to people or the board or HO meetings about has never happened. And the 10 incidents that she did file at the same time that she filed her to come here, all were thrown out except one, which was our truck was parked temporarily on COA property while we're clearing out an apple tree that we want to park our truck in the front of our property, which is next to the shared property. So all the other ones were thrown out by the COA.
May I say something?
Yes, ma'am. I'll give you the final word here.
I disagree with that
Right.
completely,
Okay, I'm
obviously.
not, that doesn't surprise me,
Right.
but go ahead. You can, I'll hear from you.
Whatever surveys were done, all of them are following the same line.
Okay, but you disagree where that line is apparently.
he disagrees where it is.
Yeah, well, you both disagree.
But
By the
that's,
very
that's,
nature,
that's what I don't
if
understand.
you can't agree, if neither of you agree,
Right.
that tells me you both disagree.
Okay, well,
So-
obviously.
so
but
you don't agree either.
What I don't understand is in the back where my newer shed is backed up against Lost Lake land. It is never, ever going to be theirs at that point in time. That stake there goes with the stake to the tree and you draw a line. How is that complicated?
So, well, okay, I didn't mean to
And-
cut you off. If you're done, you can
and-
continue.
No, sir. I know their concern is all about this tree. It's all about the tree. But what they don't understand is they do know what Washington state laws are. I don't appreciate them harassing the people that I hire to come to my property to perform work. I had an arborist come to check on the health of the tree, and Saban chased him down to make sure that he wasn't going to cut down the tree. Well, that's not his job. They don't know who I hired. They're just busybodies in my stuff all the time. They haven't ever filed anything against me in the park because I don't do anything for them to complain about. I don't keep my radio or karaoke machine loud until midnight. I don't have lights everywhere that bother people. I pretty much try to keep to myself. I keep to myself. And I don't understand why they are constantly poking at me. And I've never called her a bitch that I know of. I only respond in kind. If she yells at me, I will yell back.
Hang on just a second.
And the COA president acknowledged that the markers were true and correct. Stage 2 or not.
Yes. Okay, so a couple things here. First of all, I reviewed, yes, I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I
If you're
just
not, I'll
thought of
let you
something
finish.
else. As far as cameras go,
Hmm.
there is a picture in there that you can tell it's from the inside of their rig and it's pointing directly at my front door and my deck. I do not feel comfortable going out there to have a cocktail in the afternoon because I know I'm on camera. I can't enjoy my surroundings.
Okay.
I'm done. Thank you.
Great. And so a couple things. First of all, before I give a ruling on these cases, as I've said before at the beginning of all this, Ms. Youth is asking for an order against Ms. McDaniel. Ms. McDaniel's asking for an order against both Mr. Woods as well as Ms. Youth. As I said somewhat before, maybe off the cuff that, you both want the same thing. What do you need me for? A lot of times in instances in these sorts of cases, like I say, either deny both or grant both. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But here's the thing with regard to the property line. All property dispute, I don't have any jurisdiction over that. Whether when you say like, well, the survey says this, it's so obvious. Well, it's not obvious. And you clearly don't agree where the property line is. And if you can't work that out for yourselves, and apparently you can't, you need to go to Superior Court and get that straightened out, because that's not something that's in front of me here right now. What's in front of me right now is whether or not a pattern of harassment has been shown by either party against the other parties. With regard to Ms. Yu's petition, and again, I will disagree with you on this, Ms. McDaniel, and that is, yeah, a lot of it's about the tree, but that's not why we're here. We're here because you came onto her property, threw a bunch of stuff on there, threw a dead tree on there, pulled up plants from her property. But again, when you talk about 6 inches on the other, I mean, that's just, when I'm holding my hands approximately 6 inches apart, that's really not practical in light of photographic evidence that I have seen and reviewed in the film that I have viewed. And I will make a finding that you went onto their property, left stuff on their property on more than one occasion, which I do find harassing. And I'm going to enter an order that says you're just not to, again, there's not going to be a distance restriction. Don't come within 1,000 feet. You're just not to come onto their property. Do you understand that?
Of course.
And so, good, I hope so. And I know they do. With regard to your petition against both of them, that petition is going to be denied based on what I've heard from you. I can't find it, they didn't go onto your property. They're not doing anything. Yes, they're protective of that tree. And I'm not making any ruling on that sort of thing because I can't. With regard to the threat to sue, I mean, frankly, that's
Now it's Karen's turn, and it's a wild mix of denial and blame. She says it's all weeds and 6 inches of innocent weeding.
was entirely appropriate. And I would have said something to the effect of, if you cut that tree down, you do so at your peril because they'll have opportunities to, and I've seen cases like that case, criminal trespass, destruction of trees on, I see cases like that in here all the time. I'm not done yet. And so I don't find anything inappropriate about that. With regard to the cameras, I've not been phoned sufficiently where the cameras have been placed in a way that's harassing. I'm sorry, you can't feel like you can enjoy, to use your words, a cocktail in the afternoon, but my understanding is that that complaint was made to the cameras about the homeowners association, which I've told has been dismissed. And so I'm going to back that up. I'm not going to make any finding in that regard. But the tree remains an issue. But again, if you can't sort it out amongst yourselves, like I say, you're going to have to get a Superior Court judge to do it. But I will find that the behavior you've engaged in has gone beyond the level of just going onto their property. As you've seen from the earlier case, that kind of bothers me. People have a right to not have people come onto their property undivided for any reason. And putting things, and I know in your opinion you disagree with me, and ma'am, and I get it. People disagree with me. You've seen several people disagree with me already here this morning, and I understand if you disagree what I'm doing here now, but that's what I'm going to do. You've been wanting to say something. I'm done. If you want to say something, you can.
Well, I am very well aware of what the Washington state rules are about the tree. And I just wish they'd relax about it because I don't care about the tree anymore. There isn't anything I can do about it. It's there, it's gonna stay. Who cares? Get over it.
Well, again, I will say, ma'am, I would suggest you look at yourself in the mirror when you say get over it, because it seems to me like you're the one who, frankly, hasn't gotten over it by the way you've conducted yourselves on their property. That's just my impression from not knowing any of you. I've never met any of you before right now, but just the impression I've got. You kind of need to let things go there too. And again, if you disagreement, you want to get into a Superior Court case over those 6 inches, you're both are free to do it. But that's what's going to happen here today.
May I ask another question?
Yes.
If the surveyors deem that the property lines are correct by the stakes, am I allowed to go on that 6 inches of property that would then be mine?
See, here's the thing, ma'am, and
I'm just asking.
I'm gonna give you an answer, because the surveyors, their survey is an opinion, right? And that only becomes your property when a Superior Court judge tells you that it does. If it's disputed, it's disputed. So, and again, they call those actions quiet titles, and you need to quiet title in that disputed 6 inches of land out there. So if you're asking for my permission to do that, you're not going to get it.
No, that's not
because
what
I'm not
asking.
in position to give it.
I'm not asking that.
Well, you kind of were.
No.
Yeah, you said, am I entitled to go on there? And I'm saying I'm
No,
not.
I was asking if the,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
never
saying-
mind.
And yeah, that's
never
right.
mind. It's all good.
So does you folks have any questions about what's happening here? Again, you're not to go, I'm signing your order is going to be granted. Yours is going to be denied because I haven't found any sort of pattern of harassment, but you're not to go onto their property. Do you understand that?
Absolutely.
Got it. Or contact. And again, let me back up here a little bit. Give me just a second. This order will exist for 1 year. And again, hang on for a second. I'll come back to this in a minute. So the parameters of the order are, you're not to contact them. Have any contact them with them at all. Don't cause them any harm, not to engage in stalking behavior. And then there's not a distance restriction. You're just not to go on the premises of the protected person, which is Ms. Youth, or residence or workplace. And again, I'm not making any sort of ruling and finding on who owns the 6 inches. That's, and that, I'm just gonna leave that as it is. And I'm gonna make one exception, and that's through except for legal proceedings. Like if there's any sort of lawsuit filed, you can have them served appropriately, but not face to face. And at the risk of saying something that you folks don't want to hear, this doesn't affect your right to make complaints if you feel are appropriate, but you're just to stay away from them, stay off their property, and don't have any contact with them. You understand? We'll make copies of both for you'll get all. Oh, sorry. You're going to get copies of both decisions in both cases. Yes, sir.
I did have one question, Your Honor.
Sure.
There was an allegation in the writ that she submitted that is now on public record that is derogatory towards me.
Yeah.
Is there any way to have that removed or redacted?
It's a court file that's
Okay.
just part of the public
So
record.
I will
If
have
you
to go
need
to
take
civil
some-
court.
if you need to take some proceedings in that regard. I've denied her order, and there's just no, it's a public record now. There's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can.
And you could speak to a lawyer about what if any, action you want to take.
Thank you. Your Honor.
Sure.
Sabin fires back, surveys cameras, and final receipts drop. He says she crossed a line, literally, and it's all documented. This courtroom saga ends with stakes, string, and stubborn pride.